Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor. Go ahead and check them out in the description below. For today's weather, we finally have more risks that have been coming through the severe plains, and we're going to continue that trend into this evening, into tonight. We could see hail, wind, and tornadoes all the way from Texas up into Nebraska and South Dakota, so we're going to take a look at that. And then following that front into tomorrow, our storms are driven by that cold front into today, and then they're going to continue pushing east along that front and bringing us severe wind chances into tomorrow evening. And then, as always, checking in on the tropics. We've got one disturbance out there, so we're going to see if that can form into anything over the next couple of days. But first, we've got our upcoming events. So first of those is going to be the OU-TCU Tailgate. This is in Norman, Oklahoma by the Bud Wilkinson House on Jenkins. And this one's going to be this Saturday, October 16th at 4 p.m. I believe is when the tailgate starts. Is that right, Frank? Yeah, okay, that's 4 p.m. the tailgate starts, and then the game starts at 6. So if you guys are wanting to come out there and watch some football, get some free food, free beer, and just hang out with us and talk the weather, you guys can go ahead and do that at the OU-TCU Tailgate. Then after that, we are going to be at the Only Women in Roofing Retreat. It's called Grace and Grind, and this one is in Dallas, Texas, October 18th and 19th. So coming up quick here, so if you guys are women in roofing and you want to come out to that, go ahead and come see us at Grace and Grind. And then last but not least, we're going to be at the Orca Golf Tournament, and this one is at the Belmar Golf Club, also in Norman, Oklahoma, on October 25th. So come out and see us at the Orca Golf Tournament. The Orca Golf Tournament, Norman, Oklahoma, October 25th. So now into yesterday's storm reports. So we did get some activity moving through the Mississippi Valley as well as Illinois and Indiana. So jumping on in there, we got a few tornadoes that worked their way through Illinois here yesterday that we mapped through that area. Plenty of severe wind to go around through Indiana and Michigan. And then we did get a couple of quarter-sized stones here and there, so we got some reports from that as well. So not a ton of widespread activity, but still some severe activity to go around through the upper Mississippi Valley and the Ohio Valley area. Then into today, we're going to start to see some storms developing through the Central Plains. So we're mostly beautiful across the country right now, but we do have a cold front that's getting ready to move through Texas, Oklahoma, and the Central Plains. And along that front, we're going to get some storms popping ahead of it. So right now, plenty of clear conditions. Time to get that daytime heating and all that instability out ahead. And then we've got that front that's going to move into that unstable environment, bringing those storms later this afternoon and evening. Again, for the rest of us, mostly beautiful across the country. I know we've had lots of snow through the Rockies finally, so we're starting to get into that season for you guys. 50 degrees in Denver, 40s up in Portland, but the rest of us are going to be sitting in the 60s and 70s, a little warmer down south. Now for our instability that we're going to see this afternoon and evening, like I said, plenty of time for that daytime heating, all that moisture return to come up into Texas, into Oklahoma, and with that, that's going to build up our instability through the environment. So this is what we've got by 7 p.m. We've got this low of instability moving through the northern part of Texas, southwestern Oklahoma, and the northeastern panhandle of Texas, and with that, we could get some large hail forming ahead of that front. So this is 7 p.m., and then as that line tracks eastward through that area, going to get lots of instability initially, isolated storms passing through, and then those are going to band up, push their way eastward, and start to form a wind threat. So with that instability that's going through, that's going to play directly into our hail size. So this is what we've got for our significant hail model. We want to see these warm values to show large hail possible, and that's what we've got for the initiation of these storms. So as they form singular rotating supercells, we could get some hail in the 2 to 2.5 inch range, maybe even a couple larger stones here and there. And through the Oklahoma City area, we've got a couple of individual cells that are going to go up ahead of this system into this nice unstable environment with those warm to moderate significant hail model values. And with those, we could see some large hailstones forming in this area by 8:30 p.m. And then once again, as that instability dies down, the significant hail sizes, the predictions on that are going to go down along with it, and then we're going to see that band push eastward. So here's what that all looks like coming together on our future radar. So quiet afternoon, just some cloud cover here and there and a couple of showers, but then once we get into that high instability later on this afternoon and that front starts to push through, stirring up some activity, we'll get some isolated storms down here near the Del Rio area, and then we're really watching this one. The last few model runs have all showed this supercell as well as a couple others potentially pushing upward into the Oklahoma City and Edmond metro into this evening, into tonight. So this is by 10:30. We're seeing these supercells moving through this area. Those could bring some pretty significant hail into this afternoon and evening as those pushed eastward. And then we've got a second round forming here through the Texas Panhandle, the Oklahoma Panhandle, up into Kansas. And those are going to continue to form our hail threat before they band up, producing that wind threat. And then we've also got this cluster storms down here in Texas that could produce some hail initially, as well as a wind threat later on. And then those are going to continue to push eastward into the evening and overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Then if we look up into the more central and northern plains area, kind of a similar story in terms of that frontal system pushing through and forming those storms. However, we're going to have a very quick chance at hail. It's going to be more on the smaller side, longer chance at wind. So here's what we've got, 12 p.m., kind of similar to what we're seeing down south. And then as that low pressure moves through, as we get that front starting to push eastward, those storms fire up very quickly, forming that band. So a couple of the areas of stronger instability could produce some hailstones along with it in the ping pong to golf ball sized range for the southern part, quarter sized range in the northern part of that storm system. And then as those band up, they're going to push east. There they go through the Wichita area by 2 a.m. So it's going to be a loud night for you guys in the northern plains. And then those are going to continue to push off to the east by 6 a.m. They're pushing off past the Omaha area into the Mississippi Valley. So then, here's what we've got for our hail forecast for you guys. So that whole area that we talked about is going to be in a $1.25 to $1 sized threat all the way from Nebraska down into Texas. And then if we're looking in the central part of that where we saw that really high instability, those high significant hail model values, that's where we're going to get the largest stones possible. So if you guys are in Del Rio or Abilene, just a few scattered storms pushing through your area along the tail end of that front, so $1.25 to $1 sized stones possible for you. But then once we get up into the Wichita Falls area, the Lawton area, Oklahoma City area, that's where those storms are going to start to pass through as isolated supercells. So we could get 2.5 inch hail possible with those cells as they push up to the northeast. And then a second chance, like we talked about, as those storms initiate along the Texas Panhandle, push eastward, we could get up to 2 to 2.5 inch hail with that as well. So moderate chance for Oklahoma City into tonight. If those can form far enough to the south, they can get you with some large stones. So you guys do want to stay prepared for that weather into tonight. Like I said, this is going to be a late risk moving into tomorrow morning. So just because it's sunny this afternoon does not mean that we're not still going to get some powerful storms moving through later on. So just be aware of that. Similar story for the northern plains. All of this is going to be in $1 to $1.50 sized range with that band as it passes through. Mostly wind for you guys, so Wichita, Kansas City, Omaha. Low end chance that you'll get severe hail into this evening, into tonight. But then if you are in Colby, Kansas, or any of this far western part of the swath, that's where those storms are going to initiate, possibly producing some severe hail before they track eastward as a line. Then looking at our wind threat, it's going to be similar to this hail threat that we have into this evening, except it is going to be pushed a little bit, just a tiny bit farther to the east as those storms band up. So again, if you guys are in Del Rio, Abilene, Dallas-Fort Worth now, you guys are in a low end chance of seeing some significant winds in tonight. Those are going to track eastward as a band into your area, so if you're in DFW, be prepared to wake up to some loud thunderstorms, gusty winds. You could get some severe gusts here and there. Oklahoma City, again, moderate chance for you guys because you do have those initial supercells passing over you, and then you get the second chance with the line that's also going to track over you into the overnight hours. Then Wichita, moderate chance for you because you saw how good that line looked as it pushed east, pretty solid as it passes over Wichita, so you guys have a moderate chance as well as Colby, Kansas. And then into Omaha and Kansas City, that should be weakening by that point. Not a lot of heating and instability to keep it going as powerfully as it was to the west. So as it passes over Omaha, Kansas City, low end chance for severe winds for you guys. So that's what we have into today's risk. Definitely one to keep an eye on if you guys are in the southern or central plains, because we already saw some crazy storms on the weekend for Oklahoma, and we could get a second shot of that into tonight and the overnight hours. So definitely stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to our mapping alerts. Then into tomorrow, things should kind of wind down a little bit. We'll have a wind threat in the north as well as Texas as those storms follow that front. So here we are by 11 a.m., just lots of loud showers. That's going to be the continuation of those storms from tonight moving across the east. Should be pretty weak at that point by the early morning hours as they push eastward. But then we do start to get some isolated development once again through Iowa, through Illinois, and through Wisconsin here. And so as that storm pushes up to the northeast, we'll see it band together a little bit, pushing its way into Michigan as a band. Could get some gusty winds out of that. Then back down into our Texas risk, we're going to start to see a similar situation moving on. So we'll start to see storms clustering up down in the San Antonio area, pushing their way up to the northeast, and we could get some gusty winds along with that. Looks like I didn't have a pause point in there, so maybe I can back it up for you guys so you can see that. But we'll have, here we go. So we got these storms starting to cluster up, push together, and push over the San Antonio area by later tonight. Might have to take my word for it on that. Here we go. Okay, so there's that cluster of storms pushing over San Antonio, third time's a charm, into tomorrow evening, into the overnight hours as those track northwestward or northeastward. So not a whole lot of a hail threat, not seeing a lot of instability in those areas along that front into tomorrow. We're not going to get the same kind of daytime heating that we're seeing today. However, we do have enough to form some gusty winds here and there through Texas and the northeast. So this is what that's going to look like here on our wind forecast map. So we got our northern risk as well as our Texas risk. Jumping on in, if you guys are in Davenport, Chicago, or Green Bay, that's where we're going to see the best chance at those storms into tomorrow. Low end chance across the board since they are kind of scattered as they push eastward into the Michigan area. And then if you guys are down in Texas, San Antonio, you're just going to be on the far end of that risk as those storms cluster up and push eastward through the area, producing lots of lightning, lots of thunder, some gusty winds as well. Could be some severe and damaging gusts as well. Then last but not least, going into the tropics, we've had quite a bit to talk about today, and we're going to end it with our tropical risks. This is one one disturbance that's not really in the books to form anything, but we are watching this one as it moves into the Caribbean as well as the Gulf Stream. We're expecting it to track northwestward, 10% chance of formation in the next 2 and 5 days. So really not great chances here, but you never know. As it warms into those warmer waters, we could start to see it develop a little bit. Could be our final letter of this round of the alphabet before we move into the next list. So watching this one as well in the Atlantic, not coming towards us, but again, just something to keep our eye on. So that's what we have for you guys into today. Stay tuned definitely to our videos. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit See First on Facebook so you always catch us when we go live. We may end up having to go live later this afternoon, so definitely want to follow us on all of those platforms. And then you guys can also get in contact with us by calling 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you'd rather at info@hailtrace.com, or check out our awesome website, hailtrace.com, for more details on who we are and what we do. And we will keep you updated as always. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.